Hare Krishna and welcome, my dear friends, to this sacred space where we embark on a journey of spiritual enrichment and inspiration. I am deeply honored to have you join me today as we delve into the timeless pages of one of our authored books to recite a beautiful spiritual pastime. Within the pages of this book lies a tapestry of stories, a tapestry woven with the threads of devotion, wisdom, and love. The pastime I'm about to share holds a special place in my heart, and I believe it has the power to touch yours as well. As the words flow from the lips, let them be a bridge that connects us beyond the physical realm, transcending time and space. Let's remember that these stories are not just tales of the past, but living embodiments of eternal truths that resonate even today. Hare Krishna.
One day, Lord Prahariya stood up to dance at Srivas Pandit's house, but instead of doing so he went and sat upon Lord Vishnu's throne. On the previous occasions, whenever the Lord had mounted upon the altar, he had done so in devotional ecstasy. But this time, he did this on purpose. In fact, the Lord remained seated upon the throne for the next 21 hours, enacting one of his most awe-inspiring pastimes. This pastime is sometimes also referred to as Sath Prahariya. Sath means 7, and 1 prahar is equivalent to 3 hours. Understanding his mood, the devotees arranged for pots of water from the holy Ganges and performed his abhishek, bathing ceremony. After mixing the Ganges water with saffron, camphor, musk, sandalwood paste, the devotees bathed the Lord, one by one. Usually 108 pots of water are utilized for doing abhishek, but in this case, the number far exceeded. One of Srivas Pandit's maidservants, who was named Tukhi, meaning one who is sad, was engaged in this service of bringing the water from the Ganges. Seeing her thus immersed in service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy that he gave her the name Sukhi, one who is happy, thereby indicating that he had taken away all her material distresses. After the Abhishek ceremony, the Lord wanted his devotees to offer him various kinds of food to eat. Here it must be noted that the Lord wants his devotees to serve him in order to shower his mercy upon them and further purify them. He accepts even if his devotee offers him a tulsi leaf and water with love. But the Lord would accept nothing from one who is not devoted unto him. Hundreds of pots of dahi, curd, milk, bunches of bananas, coconuts, sweets, etc. were offered unto the Lord, who immediately consumed them to the pleasure of all present. After this, the Lord reminded the devotees of various incidents from their past and how the Lord had helped them in those situations. The Lord reminded Srivas Pandit how he used to attend Devananda Pandit's Srimad Bhagavatam classes. While attending one of these lectures, Sri Srivas became overwhelmed with ecstasy and crying profusely fell down upon the floor unconscious. Not being able to grasp his elevated mood and considering him to be a disturbance, the fellow students carried Srivas Pandit outside and put him in the street. Devananda Pandit didn't protest these insulting actions of his students, as he was also ignorant of pure devotional service. When Srivas Pandit returned to his home with a heavy heart, the Lord provided him with shelter. He enabled Srivas to read and relish Srimad Bhagavatam, being immersed in the ecstatic love of Godhead. Similarly, the Lord interacted with Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, Mukunda Datta, Murari Gupta, Gangadasa Pandit and reminded them of their past incidents and revealed to them their identities in Krishna's eternal pastimes. Sri Gaurahari remarked that the real purport of Sri Murari Gupta's name was that Murari, Krishna, ever lied hidden, Gupta, within his heart. The Lord revealed himself to Murari Gupta as his beloved Ramchandra. The Lord also reminded Murari that he was the incarnation of Ramchandra's eternal servitor, Sri Hanuman. The Lord revealed to Haridas Thakur that it was actually he who had embraced Haridas and tolerated the whips of the demoniac guards, who mercilessly dragged and beat him at the 22 marketplaces. The Lord wanted to sever the heads of the miscreants with his Sudarshana Chakra, but was unable to do so as Haridas Thakur continuously prayed for them and forgave their offences. So these guards had actually beaten the Lord instead, who had invisibly protected Haridas Thakur by embracing him. The Lord then revealed his bare back, which still carried the marks of all those whip lashes that he had accepted on behalf of his dear devotee. Similarly, the Lord reminded Gangadasa Pandit of the incident where he and his family were trying to escape the king and his demoniac guards. Reaching the bank of the Ganges when Gangadasa Pandit could find no boat, he became concerned for his family's safety and wanted to commit suicide by drowning himself in the river. At that time, the Lord himself appeared as a boatman and rescued Gangadasa and his family by safely carrying them to the other side of the river. Similarly, the Lord interacted with all of his associates during this magnanimous pastime and granted them several benedictions. During the Mahaprakash Lila, as this pastime is commonly referred to, Mahaprabhu showered his blessings upon another of his dear devotee named Kolavechya Sridhar, who made a living out of selling banana products. Hardly any of the Lord's devotees present that day at Srivas Angan knew of the deep relationship between Lord Chaitanya and Kolavechya Sridhar. So when Mahaprabhu called out for Sridhar, the devotees had to actually search for his home before they could find and bring him to Mahaprabhu. Sridhar's residence was situated within the dense forests that presently surround the temple of Lord Jagannath at Rajapur, today. Sridhar was materially impoverished but was highly devoted to the Supreme Lord. He would engage 50% of whatever little income he made selling banana leaves and banana products in the worship of Mother Ganges. Little Nimai Pandit, as Mahaprabhu was called in his young days, before he took initiation at Gaya, would go to Sridhar every single day and bargain with him the price of these banana leaves, which were very cheap in the first place. At the end of the bargain, Nimai would forcibly take away the banana products, paying just a few conch shells. Though Sridhar outwardly showed this satisfaction, internally he became very happy and actually waited for Mahaprabhu to come again the next day. He didn't understand why, but he always became very blissful whenever he came in contact with Nimai Pandit. Lord Chaitanya displayed to Sridhar his divine opulence at Srivas Angan during the Mahaprakash pastimes. He mercifully gave him darshana of his six-armed form, combined form as Lord Krishna, Ramchandra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and subsequently his two-armed form as Sri Krishna. Sridhar could also see his worshipable Mother Ganga, along with the other demigods such as Brahma and Shiva eternally serving Mahaprabhu. The hood of Ananta Sesha acted as Mahaprabhu's umbrella, and the sages like Narada and Sukadeva Goswami offered their prayers with folded hands. Mahaprabhu then desired to bestow some benediction unto Sridhar. He wanted to give him the 8 mystic siddhis Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Prapti, Ishita, Vashita, Prakamya, Kamavaseta. But Sridhar said he didn't want them. Then Lord Chaitanya wanted to impart liberation unto him, the freedom from birth and death. Sridhar rejected them as well. With a deeply emotional heart, Sridhar then exclaimed that if the Lord really wanted to bestow upon him a benediction, then let him be granted this boon, that he be a servant of the little Nimai Pandit life after life. He wished that wherever Nimai goes, he will accompany him as his humble servant and be able to serve him by providing him all his requirements of vegetables and bananas. Sri Chaitanya was very happy and granted Sridhar his desired benediction. Mahaprabhu then revealed that he had granted Sridhar the greatest boon, something that was elusive to even demigods like Brahma and Indra. He had granted him the boon of pure devotional service, the treasure of Krishna Prema. This is the greatness of a devotee. He has no interest in anything which is not related to the pure devotional service of the Supreme Lord, which he treasures above all else.